Greetings from the Casa de Single Wide News. Leroy, your humble reporter at your service. Mostly peaceful riots, or would it be partly violent protests, erupted in Minneapolis on Sunday night due to a half-white uh, man who is identified as being black by the mainstream media being shot and killed by the police. Although early reports were that this young man was being pulled over for having a air freshener hanging from his mirror, obstructing the driver's view. As it turns out, that was not the case, and he was actually driving with an expired tag and an outstanding warrant for illegally carrying a firearm, being a convicted felon. So there's that. Anyway, as he was being handcuffed outside of his car for the outstanding warrant, he decided to pull away from the black officer who was handcuffing him and jump back into his car. There was a female officer who apparently thought she was pulling her taser and had instead pulled her service pistol, pointed it at the young man, told him she was going to tase him, and yelled taser, 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 and fired a single shot, and it was a bullet and not a taser. The young man with his passenger hit the gas, took off, and crashed into another car, injuring the passenger and injuring the person in the other car. And he died, unfortunately. The female officer was a 26-year veteran on the Minneapolis police force. Now, I just have to wonder if she spent 26 years in the field, or was she a desk jockey or something like that for most of this before they defunded the police. I think the one officer was being trained, the black officer, and then there was a sergeant, if I'm reading the stripes on his shirt correctly, who was also there. Uh, anyway, it's very tragic, and regardless of any crimes that the young half-white man may have committed, um, it doesn't excuse the officer for mistaking her taser, mistaking her revolver for her taser. As I understand it from someone who used to be an officer, the service pistol is on the predominant side of the hand. If you're right-handed, it's going to be on your right side, and the taser would be across on the other side, pointed with the handle backwards so that you could grab it with your right hand if you were right-handed. So that's why I question whether this officer had been in the field for the 26 years or whether there was some other duties that she was performing as a police officer that were eliminated when they defunded the police and moved, perhaps had to move her to the streets. I don't know. Either way, I've been a gun owner and lived around guns pretty much all of my life, and the first thing I was taught was you are responsible for whatever comes out of the barrel of that gun. So somebody breaks in your house, you pull out a high-powered rifle, shoot them, it goes through them, and kills or injures your neighbor, you're responsible for your neighbor's death, even though it wasn't intentional. So, not excusing the officer in any way, shape, or form, but this all started with the young man trying to run from the police officers. There's no good way for this to end. You're not going to outrun the radio. You're not going to outrun their cars. You're not, the tag was his, so they know where he lives. They're going to go to his mama's. They're going to go somewhere. They're going to find him. There's three ways it's going to end. Either he's going to get a longer jail sentence, or he's going to the hospital, or he's going to the morgue. And unfortunately, in this case, he went to the morgue. Of course, riots broke out all over Minneapolis. This happened Sunday night. And by the time word got out Monday night, there were riots, of course, in New York, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, yada, 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 yada. Stores looted and burned, cars, windows smashed, people hurt, policemen hurt, frozen bottles of drink and water, bricks, cinder blocks, that kind of stuff being thrown at officers, smashing the windows of cars with people in them. Anyone who thinks that you can seek revenge or get justice by attacking someone or some store or whatever that is not associated with the person that committed the crime, the assault, the whatever, they're just retarded. They're just retarded. They're just short bus, window licking, freaking retarded. And there does not seem to be any shortage of them across this country. Now, they've been saying with previous mostly peaceful riots that, it's, only 7% violent. That's 93% non-violent. But they want reparations. This BLM group, this communist BLM group that everybody's committing these atrocities under, they say they want reparations for, and these are reparations for slavery, for them being descendant of slaves. Well, only 5% of the white people in this country are descended from slave owners. So we're supposed to ignore the 93% of the peaceful people who are protesting. We're supposed to ignore the 7%, rather, and only concentrate on that 93% that are peaceful. But when it comes to reparations, all the white people must pay. You're supposed to ignore the 95% whose descendants came after slavery was abolished, and charge them with the 5% of people who were descendant from slave owners who had absolutely nothing to do with slavery, any more than anyone alive today was a slave. Interesting how that works. In this incident, a city manager was also fired for saying that this police officer deserved due process before she got fired. She resigned from her position quit, as it were. She was suspended, don't know with or without pay, but anyway, she quit. The police chief also quit. And as I said, the city manager was fired for saying that she deserved due process. This was about, I think, 10 miles from where the Derek Chauvin case is currently going on. I think it's virtually impossible that he's going to get a fair trial. So there you go. If I was a police officer in any of these cities where they defunded the police and then reelected the mayors and governors in these states, these often police chiefs and that kind of stuff, judges and so on, that are just letting these people go, or that voted for Kamala and Joe Biden, who were bailing out these rioters while they were campaigning, I'd quit. I'd straight up quit. You're going to get thrown under the bus. Anything that happens to these officers, they are going to be thrown under the bus. They are just fuel for the fire. And every single one of them should just walk off the job. See ya. And see how quick the policies change. Now, I don't like police brutality one bit. I don't care what color the cop is. I don't care what color the victim is. When, white people get killed all the time by police, mostly because they're stupid. The same reason that most black people get shot by police and killed are killed. They're being stupid. They're not thinking correctly. I've been arrested for something I didn't do. Still alive, not because I'm white. Because I went to jail, then I went to court, then I was found innocent, and then I went home. It sucked. But I'm alive. I understand that if someone has a gun and I don't, at that particular moment in time, it doesn't matter whether it's a cop or a robber. If I want to stay alive, I'm going to follow instructions. We'll deal with the consequences later. Number one, stay alive. Anyway, I hope that that's a message that everyone can absorb and understand. Maybe it's something they should teach in school. I don't know. But, man, first of all, the people that are getting shot, most of the time are just being idiots. And then you've got these idiots that are tearing down entire cities, burning the places that they need to go to sustain life in their own cities. They think that these places are just going to just continue to rebuild. No. Remember the Watts riots back when Rodney King, what's that been, 25, 30 years? I don't remember. Been a long time ago. May have been more than 30 years. I'd have to look it up. But they burned down and looted and murdered, and there was like 2,000 Korean stores that were destroyed because black people aren't racist or anything, but for some reason all of the Korean owned stores got burned down, and pretty much most everything that had anything of worth inside. Well, these people are driving 30 or 50 miles to buy goods and services now because nobody's rebuilt. Nobody's going to put themselves in that position. So eventually these cities will just die. And many of them are. And the rot started from the outside And it just works its way farther and farther in until there's nothing left. Started in the 70s under Carter. Had a little upswing under Reagan. And then it was all downhill until Trump got into office and they couldn't wait to get him out. And now we're taking the dive again. I'm not sure why some people thought that these riots would end if we got Trump out of office when all this crap started under Obama. BLM, who was it? What was his name? Michael Brown, I think. Anyway, hands up, don't shoot. Yeah, it was a lie. And BLM was formed then. Obama had members of this communist group to the White House. Full support. What made anybody think that Obama's vice president becoming president was going to make this crap any better? I don't know. You can go ahead and put them over in the retarded list too. Anyway, that's all for this particular episode of Casa de Single Wide News. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I do hope that everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you, everyone. Love you one and all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.